Okay, so now the why. So I was thinking about the why, and I decided I'm gonna hit you guys with my. I went to Ireland. I know. Oh my God, he's showing home pictures. He's lost it. All right. So here we are, my wife and I. So my 45th birthday, I got all whiny to my wife. Oh, I don't know, I've never been anywhere. I go to work. Rough day. She has to put up with it. So she said, you know what, we're going to go to Ireland, and I got you Bruce Springsteen tickets. Big fan of Bruce Springsteen. So fantastic, let's go. So that's where I was a few weeks back or a month back. So here we are flying in. I was pretty excited. You guys are probably going, oh my God, where's he going with this? Taxi cab ride in. I'm all excited. I've never been. I've never actually had. I was out of the country once. Went to Mexico, and I had a beer, and I came back. So about an hour and a half with drive time. So we get in a cab, and there's this older guy in there, and he starts telling us, "Let's go out where you staying." I forget, Westbury Hotel. Where he's, "Oh, God love you. God love you. Oh, the saints be praising on you. God love him." I'm like, must really like this hotel, all right? But then he starts explaining as we're driving around town. He's like, oh, that's not the real Ireland. You want to see the real Ireland, you got to go across the river to the south side or north side. There was no mountains. I didn't know where the hell I was. But we got to where we were. I was like, yeah, God love us, man. This is right outside of our hotel. It's beautiful, you know. I don't know what that thing is. I never went to go see it. But there's all kinds of cool places along here. The roads are made out of brick. Looks beautiful. Here's an alley. This is what an alley looks like. You got all the little, here, I'm going to use my pointer. The little things hanging. I mean, how cool is that? And then at night, that's what it looks like. I'm like, look at the alleys here. This is great. I could live here in this alley. This is beautiful. So this is kind of where, there's a little arrow pointing which way. There's tall things with pointy things on top, right? That we saw, we looked at that. And we went on a nature walk, which was nice, you know. You're like, oh, it kind of looks like Colorado. And it does, except back here is all the water, and you see things like this. These islands, they roll over the place. I'm not big on taking pictures, just so you know. This is all my iPhone. I'm not this is probably the last time you'll see pictures out of me, but maybe a video. So, and we went on this thing, and we started meeting people. There was people playing music in the streets where we were. And it was really cool. And my wife and I she talks more than I do, likes to talk to people. I said that wrong. Oh, so. She is a very engaging human being. You're going to see a picture. So we start talking to all these different people, and they start sharing some of that same sentiment. If they were over a certain age, we started noticing that they were pretty crotchety in Ireland. We're like, well, that's weird. Oh, you know, us and them and this and that. And okay. So we thought it was interesting, and we talked to people in restaurants, whatever. So with the cab driver coming in and starting to hear some of that, we're like, there's a little undercurrent of something here in this most beautiful, fantastic place, which I thought was interesting. It was even a great restaurant. This is where we sat, and we talked to one of the waiters that told us about, oh, yeah, across the river, and a long time ago, and just really wasn't an overly positive guy, which was a shame. Younger people, when we talked to them, were kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. This is great. I love being here. It rained a lot. It's my wife. It rained a lot. So one day, when it was raining, we decided to duck into the little museum of Dublin. This place screwed me up. And I'm going to tell you why. Because all of a sudden, all these things that we had been hearing finally made sense. So there's this cool-looking lady. There was a photo exhibition by this guy named Brian Walsh, I believe his name was. And it was everything between 1972 and 1982. And there's a picture of this lady. I'm like, oh, yeah, it looks like my Aunt Tilly, actually. Except she wore a beret and always had an ashtray in her pocket. So I thought it was kind of cool. That was really cool. But you know what? I got suckered in, is what happened. Because the next photo was this. And it's this girl wearing rags on her head. And they start talking about, in the captions below, the economic challenges of back in the 70s and 80s and how bad it was, and the haves and the have-nots. Right there in Dublin. It's happening throughout Ireland, right? And then they start talking about kids living on the streets and how they traveled in packs. And that struck a chord with me. So, and then something happened that really shook me up a little bit. Forgot about the IRA and started thinking, okay, now it's starting to make sense. These older people were 10 when this happened. She could have been one of the people that was waiting on us. So there's this old undercurrent of challenges that they had from the past. You guys are probably going, where the hell is he going? So I talked to this kid. His name is Sean. And when we got back towards our hotel, and he started telling me that, I'm trying to learn how to play the guitar, and he's giving me some pointers. And I could tell by when I started talking, his clothes were kind of dirty and everything else. And he wasn't like all the rest of the people that were around in our really nice God love you area. And he's from the other side of the river, right? And he started saying, well, his buddy said he was selling out, but he does something that he loves. I thought that was really cool. And it made me realize after talking to him that there was something more to Ireland. So we hopped on a train. It's really early in the morning. You can see she's not overly thrilled. In fact, she doesn't know I used this picture. So we jumped on a train, and we started driving. And we started, what do you call it, training? I don't know. We went out on a train, riding. And one of the things, now you're starting to see a little bit more. I'm not going to hit you with a ton of pictures. But this is what a city really looks like. Not brick streets with people singing on the side of the road and people high-fiving and living in hotels. But this is their city. This looks like our city. When we got off the train, this is what it looked like. Looks like downtown Denver in some areas. Here's one of their business districts, just like us. And you'll notice there's a ton of graffiti in Ireland. I didn't know that. And actually in the graffiti, and I wasn't quick enough to get a photo of it, but there was actually some old IRA graffiti. So I went back to my hotel that night and I started thinking, and I was thinking about you guys. I was thinking about myself. And I was going, well, here I am. I'm in Ireland, and now I understand that there's more to this. And I started thinking about Denver, right? And when I think of Denver, I think of this. But we also all think of the other things too. The poverty that's here, free lunch programs, homeless, sleeping on the streets. This is what we do, all of us. This guy, ironically, and you guys are probably wondering, oh, where'd he get those photos? They're all off the Denver Post. This guy, I don't know how well you can see him, but I actually know this guy. He hangs out down by where Chipotle's headquarters were, off of Wine Coop. And he never gave me his name. I offered him plenty, offered him money, food, but would never take anything. And I always wondered, man, can I help this guy out someday? How can I help this guy out? Here I am, right, with all of you guys. These are the people we're trying to help out. So, back to Ireland. That was that night. I had one more mission. I was going to go see Bruce Springsteen. So we went over to Kilkenny, and there was tons of people in the streets having a good time, and they were all the same people that I had already seen, right? And they were all heading over to the concert. What was different was, you see everybody's kind of focused on the same thing, right? There's the boss, they put up a big guitar because he was coming to town and how excited they were. And everybody was just buzzed, and there wasn't any of this tension. And you went into restaurants, and there wasn't any of that negativity because everybody was talking about Bruce. I was talking about Bruce, right? People from around the world, people from Kilkenny, people from Dublin, south, north, everybody. We get over to the concert, everybody starts piling in. This is what it looked like. And there's a widescreen shot. So here's all these people, all these different diverse backgrounds, where they came from, and they're all there. And what is really interesting is my wife made a bootleg, and I don't know how loud my volume. Let me turn my volume down here. God love her. God love her. She made a bootleg. And if you watch, you'll see something that I'm talking about here. Everybody knew the words. They're all cheering. You know why? Because they all had one goal. See Bruce. That's what we do, right? Every day we come in, we got one goal. What's that goal? Nations model, right? All in the same direction. Everybody, look at them all. Come in every day and think, we're going to be the nation's model. That's going to be us, and we're going to be successful. Okay? That's why. All right. That's it. I'm done.